Oh look, here's my boat, what's left of it. Not this. This is kayaks, that's totally intact. But this here, there's my solar panel roof. And there's the main hull right there. You know, there's the part where I sit back there. Propeller's destroyed. Anyway, I had a bit of a problem today. Okay, I immediately pulled the motor out of the boat because it was submerged in salt water. Rinsed it off, I'm gonna let it dry out, oil it. There's a couple things in my bag I need to get out of there. Hold on. All right. I think I can salvage this motor. All right, so here's the story. Yesterday, I decided to go to town to get some food and a bit of tool stuff. And I got in my little trimaran. Jamie, put a picture of the boat right here so people know what I'm talking about. So I get in my little boat. It's a little electric boat. It has like a 3/4 horsepower motor. It's nothing fast. And it takes me like 2 or 3 hours to get to town, depending on the weather. Yesterday the weather was pretty good. It took me like, I don't know, a little over 2 hours to get there. And on this 2-hour trip, almost the whole way is like totally safe, no problems, right? But there's this one section that's maybe 5 minutes right near town, because just there's a lot of boats, there's water taxis going on, everyone's driving like fast and crazy. It's all chaotic. And I always try to get through that section as fast as possible. Because one, I don't want to get hit by a boat, and then also there's waves all over because all these boats are just... Anyway, it's way too crazy. It's super dangerous. So I got there, got through that area, got to the spot where I can park. I get out of my boat and I go get some food, and I got some tool stuff, repaired a drill, and got everything done. Got back in my boat with some snacks to eat on the way home, because, you know, it's a 2 or 3 hour drive. And I start driving, and I'm leaving town, and I'm just going through this dangerous part. And I'm always thinking, man, just get through this dangerous part, and then it's like I can be halfway asleep for the rest of the trip. It's just open water, there's nothing around for miles. We just gotta get through this dangerous part, right? So about halfway through, I see a boat straight ahead of me that is aiming almost right at me, but it's like just aiming off to the side a bit. And I'm like, whoa, that boat is like gonna be uncomfortably close to me. So I start steering this way to like veer off around them, but they start steering this way too. And I realized they're totally gonna hit me. So I'm like waving and yelling, and I know I didn't know it at the time, but now I know it was a lady, like an older lady. So I know this lady can't see me because I can't see her, because all I can see on her boat is the bow of the boat sticking up. Because on these boats, the way the boat is, it's like it sits flat in the water, right? But the bow of the boat is up so that waves don't come over the bow of the boat. So and most of the people drive the boat from the back. So if someone's standing from the back of the boat when the boat's not moving, they can see over the bow. There's a bit of a blind spot there, but they can usually see. But if they sit down, they can hardly see anything in front of the boat. And then as soon as they start driving, the front of the boat comes up, the back of the boat goes down, and now the person can't, like literally has zero visibility in front of them. That's the situation. I'm seeing this boat come at me. All I can see is the bow way up. I cannot see the people in the boat. There are a bunch of people in the boat. But because the front of the boat was up in the air, they can't see me, I can't see them. And I'm like trying to yell and stick my hand up high enough that they can see and try to figure out if I can steer, but my boat's not that fast. I'm going like a 1/5 her speed. And suddenly I realize I'm at the point where this collision is imminent. There is no getting around it. So I'm already like halfway out of the boat trying to wave, so I just like start diving off the side of the boat. And as I'm diving off the side of the boat, I see her boat veer more this way in the direction that I'm diving. I was trying to dive off the opposite side she was about to hit. So at that point, I'm like, holy crap. So I push off as hard as I can, dive as hard as I can, hit the water, and go straight down. And something something hit me in the right calf. It's still kind of sore, but it's all right. And my left, one of my toes got whacked. I got a scratch on the top of my head too. You see that? Although I think the scratch on my head came in a few seconds after this. So I'm totally under the water. I didn't even notice that my leg or my foot had gotten hit yet. I noticed that after I came back up. And you know, right above me, it's just carnage. So my boat is a little trimaran, and I sit in the main hull, and then there's a hull here and a hull there, and she plowed right through the arms that hold out this hull here. And obviously that all broke off, because even if her boat didn't destroy that, the motor coming through, yeah, it got blown to bits. And then it hit the main hull so hard and shoved it over, and then I guess it dragged it back too when the motor pulled on it, that the pontoon, the hull on this side, snapped off, although the arms were still attached. But anyway, I'm underwater. I look up. I didn't really even take a breath because I was just yelling and trying to get out of the way. So I'm under the water. I'm like kind of disoriented. I'm just trying to come up to get air, but the whole wreckage of my boat is directly above me, so I'm like kind of clawing my way through. I think that's where I scratched the top of my head. Anyway, I get back up to the surface, and I'm just like, what the I probably said that like 8 times, but the actual word. Anyway, at that point, my boat is upside down. The pontoons are, one's over there, one's over there. My solar panels are you know, from the roof are under, and the motor's still going. So I like reach down and find the switch and turn it off, which mostly turns it off. But now there's seawater in everything, which is conductive, so the motor's still going a little. And then I'm just like, I look at this boat that just plowed through, and it's gone around the corner and like gone. And I'm like, and I'm looking around, I'm like, a lot of people saw that. That lady is definitely not getting away with that. She's coming back. So, and this is one thing I kind of want to talk about. You know, I'm sure that lady had the thought, can I just get away? Can I just run away and just leave and not deal with this? And this is a result of one of the problems that officials or authorities create. Because when people are in that situation, they don't want to leave someone to die. They want to help them. The reason they want to run away most of the time is because they're afraid of the authorities and what's going to happen to them when they're thrown in jail and dragged into court and all this other craziness, right? But anyway, she came back a few minutes later. Before that, some other guy just in a boat comes up and he's like, hey, you know, throw your stuff up here and get in the boat. This is all in Spanish, of course. So I got my groceries there, a big bag, and throw it up in his boat. And I did save my chorizos, so that was good. My bag of flour was toast, though, because that was obviously not waterproof. Anyway, I saved most of my food and, you know, the tools I got. My wallet. I made sure I grabbed my wallet. And I got onto this guy's boat. And this happened right in front of the bomberos, the fire department. Hey, naked kids, no, come in front of the camera. No, that way. Anyway, so the fire department boat comes out, and they're like, oh, come on in here, and you know, throw your stuff up on here, and they kind of help pull what's left of my boat back. And then the lady came back at that point, and she and her ladies in the boat were helping, you know, rescue my onions and the one pontoon that was floating away. And I get in the fireboat, and they have an EMT, an emergency medical person, who's like, are you okay? Does anything hurt? Put a Band-Aid on my toe, and you know, put a little cream on my head, and check my heart rate and my blood pressure. And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm fine. I mean, I think I'm all right. Got a bit of a headache, but you know, I think I'm basically all right. And then, you know, after a few minutes, she's like, okay, you're gonna be okay. And I was like, good. Anyway, so we get back to the dock. That's the fire station dock which we're only like 50 meters away from anyway. And they take the wreckage of my boat and just tie it to the fire engine. I guess it's good they didn't have to go anywhere in the fire engine at that point in time because my boat was tied to it. Anyway, but it's still just in the water. The pontoons, the side pontoons, they only weigh like 50 pounds each maybe. Probably not even that, so they just put those up on the dock. And, you know, I rescued all my food and stuff. That was on the dock. And then, you know, this lady who plowed through my boat is getting all defensive because, you know, there are all these authority kind of people showing up with clipboards and stuff, and she's like, I didn't even see him. I like trying to be like, it was not my fault. I didn't see anything. I didn't see him. And I'm just thinking like, well, yeah, that is the problem. You didn't see me. Like, you have to be able to see what's in front of your boat. Like, anyway, so, you know, there are all these official people with clipboards asking names and identification numbers and what's the name of your boat and asking all these useless questions. And I'm answering them thinking, okay, you guys are supposedly here to help in some way, right? No, they are not there to help. Not at all. And this is one of the problems. This is one of the things I cannot stand about our civilization today. Like, all these and it's not a situation that is because of where I am. This is something that happens pretty much everywhere I've ever lived. There might be some exceptions, but people who are supposed to be like public servants, they don't actually help. Instead of making the situation better, they make it worse. They try to make it more expensive. Like more expensive in terms of money and time and human life. And like people have died because they're afraid of dealing with the authorities. So they'll leave someone to die because they don't want to deal with it, because they know this is going to come and ruin their life because these authorities are going to show up and just cause more and more problems. Anyway, so I was not thinking about that at the time. I was still kind of like a little bit out of it. So I'm answering their questions, and I'm kind of like looking at my boat and trying to figure out, all right, how am I going to get this thing out of here? And, you know, I'm pretty sure it's repairable. What can I salvage? And, you know, and they're just like asking useless questions and taking pictures of the wreckage and the scene. And I'm just like, okay, you guys going to help me in some way? Like get the boat out, like get water out of it or something. And I got to call someone to help. Like, is there someone I can rent a boat from here, or do I need to call someone? But they don't want to know anything about anything useful or helpful. They just want to know about the chalecos. This is vests, you know, flotation devices, life jackets. Now the lady who hit me, she knows the drill. So she is wearing her life jacket the whole time we're on the dock talking to people. She's got it zipped up and buckled up, and it's strapped on so hard. I don't know that she was wearing it when she was driving, but anyway, they're telling me that I'm gonna have to pay a fine because I was not wearing my chaleco, my life vest. They're like, where's your life vest? I'm like, I don't know, it's in the boat or in the water. I mean, like, I've got wreckage. All I have is wreckage. Oh, you weren't wearing it, therefore you get a fine. And, you know, you also get a fine because some paperwork thing, and she got a fine because she didn't have some paperwork, and they're just sitting there administering stupid fines that don't help the situation at all. I could have a concussion at this point. Who knows? And it like they had absolutely nothing to do with anything helpful or useful. Now some people are going to say, yeah, but they're making sure you wear your life vest. That's important safety stuff. No, I would disagree. And I'm going to tell you why. If I had been wearing a life jacket when that boat hit me, when that boat hit my boat, I think it actually hit my toe. I think her boat is what hit my toe. Anyway, if I'd been wearing a life jacket, first it would have slowed me down in jumping out of the boat because I had this big thing getting in the way. But I probably still could have jumped out of the boat in time. However, in that situation, where's my safe spot? Under the water. That's the only safe spot. Everything above the water was carnage, just pieces flying all over the place, and a boat blasting through full blast. Oh, and she was going full speed. Anyway, my only safe spot to go was under the water. If if I was wearing a life jacket, I would hit the water and bounce right back up. The boat would have taken out my legs, could have even killed me. And that's what they're concerned about. It's a life jacket, a life jacket. Now, the life jackets, I'm not saying there's no use for it, but it's not like it's not gonna prevent crashes. It's not gonna help you if there's a crash, if a boat smashes into you, your life jacket's not gonna help. It's only gonna help if you're out in the water and you need to swim farther than you can swim, or if you're unconscious in the water. But if you're unconscious in the water, you're probably really messed up at that point. Anyway, all they care about is the chalecos, and they're standing on the dock yelling at boats going by, "Put on your chalecos! Put on your chalecos!" Well, saying the whole thing in Spanish. Like just completely going bonkers about this useless gesture of virtue signaling. And they're standing there with their clipboards and looking all official, like we know what we're doing. And I'm just standing there going, what the? Like, this woman has said a dozen times she could not see out of the front of her boat. She could not see anything ahead of her. Like, maybe that's the problem? No, they don't want to know anything about that. All they want to know is what they can fine people for. You don't have this papers, you don't have your chalecos on, now you got to go and pay the fine. And I'm just like, okay, you guys are just wasting my time. I'm just going to fast forward through this. They wasted about 2 hours of just nonsense garbage. First, there were like 4 different people with their clipboards taking things, and then the Marine Authority guy, who was very nice. He was a very nice guy, and we talked and everything, you know. But he's like, all right, we got to go over to the Marine Authority office, and, you know, I have to take a statement. And I'm just like, dude, I don't have time for that. I need to do something about this. It's like, now it's like 2 o'clock. I crashed at noon. I gotta call someone or get a boat. Like, I have stuff to do. He's like, okay, it won't take too long, but, you know, we need to get a report and a statement, because there have been a lot of crashes lately. And, well, of course, we have to walk like 1.5 miles to get to this office, and the guy does not walk fast. I'm just like, come on, man. But he was a very nice guy, and we're talking about boat crashes, and he's like, yeah, there's a lot of boat crashes, you know, so we're trying to do reports and figure out, and I'm just like, figure out what? And this guy actually spoke English, so I could actually articulate everything. My Spanish is okay, but, you know, I speak English normally anyway. So I'm like, well, the problem is people drive these boats where the bow of the boat goes up, and then they drive, and all the weight all the weight in the boat is at the back, and the front is way up, and you can't see anything out of the front of the boat. Like, the horizon is like here, and the front of the boat is like here. So people just rely on looking at the sides. They can navigate by looking at the land over there and the buildings over here. But if there's someone in front of them, someone swimming or kayaking or even another boat, like, you can't see anything. And he's just like, oh yeah, there've been a lot of boat crashes. You know, a couple weeks ago, there was a man and a woman. They were in their boat just coming out of the gas station, so they were even driving the same boat as everyone else. There's this one kind of boat. It's a panga. Guys, I hate them. Oh, they're horrible. It's a terrible ride. It's bouncy, and no one wants to sit in the front of the boat because they're all like bam, bam, bam every time they hit the waves, and it destroys your butt. Anyway, and they when they're driving, the front is way up, partly because everyone wants to sit in the back, but also just because of the way the boat rides, so you can't see anything out the front. Anyway, this couple, they're just coming out of the gas station, and another boat was just blowing by. Same situation, can't see a thing in front of them. All they can see is out the sides, so they can kind of tell where they're going. No idea what's in front of them. Plowed right into the boat, killed both people. Like, and he's telling me this, and I'm like, so you know the problem is that people can't see out of the front of the boat. Like, this crap, you're. So anyway, we get to the office, and that's when he tells me, oh, it's a $50 fine. I'm just like, great. So I just wasted 2 hours. You're making it take longer to solve the problem. You're making it cost more, and also the lady, she also had to pay some fine. We had to go over to this office, wasting all this time, blowing stupid money on nothing. And anyway, So rewind a bit when this lady was being defensive and she was like, it was not my fault, it's not my fault. Well, I know she's afraid that I'm gonna like take her to court and try to destroy her life and everything. So I just went up to her in my crappy Spanish and I'm just like, look, you know, it's gonna cost me a couple $1,000s to fix the boat, and I will fix the boat. But anything you can offer me would be helpful. I don't expect you to give me that full amount because I don't think you just have that much money lying around. And after I said that, she like kind of relaxed, and it's like, instead of just reacting to what the law was going to destroy her with, she went back to being a human and could just like talk to me. And then she's like, oh, I'm really so sorry, and it just completely changed the way she reacted. And this is what I hate about like these authorities. They put people on the defensive and they make them. They put people in a mind frame where they don't want to solve the problem. All they want to do is cover their own butt because they don't want to go to jail and get destroyed in court and all this stuff. So all they're doing is trying to figure out how to put blame somewhere else because they're backed into a corner. But then as soon as you let someone know that, okay, that's not what we're doing, let's just try to solve the problem. You know, I'm okay, you're okay, fine, you screwed up, but you know, we can't go back. Let's just try to figure out how to solve it from here. Once they understand that you're just trying to move on and solve things, it's like their humanity comes out, which is good, and they can actually relate like a human being. Anyway, so we're at the office and on the maritime office, and on the way there, she stopped at the bank and got basically as much money as she could, I guess. But she gave me like $740, which frankly is more than I was expecting her to give me, because I think that's a lot of money for this lady. And I was like, thank you so much. This will help a lot. It won't cover the total cost of repairs and everything, but I mean that helps a ton. And I told her, don't worry about it anymore. I'll fix the boat and I'm okay and everything's fine. I gave her a hug and said, sleep fine tonight. You're okay. And she's just like, oh, thank you. And part of the reason I did that is because I don't want her to feel bad. But the other part of the reason is I don't want her to be on the defensive where she spends the next week trying to figure out how it wasn't her fault. I would rather her be able to relax and reflect on the situation and be like, I could have done better if I'd done this. Like, figure out some way that it could not happen again in the future. Because that's what people do when they're not being attacked. But when you attack people and put them on the defensive, then they start saying, no, it's not my fault. I didn't do it, and they don't want to learn from a mistake or improve anything in the future. And that's how mistakes keep happening over and over. And this is one of the problems in the world. This is the problem. A huge problem we have in the world today, just all over the place. When problems come up, authorities come along, and instead of trying to solve the problem, they'll come up with all kinds of other nonsense that is worse than useless. It's like a house will be on fire, and they'll be like, well, are the toilets up to spec? And it's like, wait, what are you talking about? The house is on fire. That is the problem. Oh, anyway. So I went to the grocery store because I knew that the lady at the grocery store had someone's number here, and it called someone, and a guy came with a boat. He's like, hey, is this boat big enough to pick up your boat? And I'm like, yeah, because my boat is really not that big. So anyway, he came a little bit later. I got back to the fire station where my boat is still in pieces, like main part's still in the water. The two pontoons are on the dock though, which is nice. So I'm there and I'm like, all right, let me see if I can get this main hull apart a little before my friend shows up. And all the fire station guys, all the authorities, everyone is gone. I've never seen this fire station so vacant, because now it's time to actually do something useful. Nobody's around. But then this guy comes and parks at a dock like right next to it, and he's like, hey, what's going on, man? And I'm like, oh yeah, I just got hit, and here's my carcass of my boat. I'm trying to figure out. So he comes over, and then there's another guy just across the street living in a camper van, and he comes over. So it's just like Like, it's just normal people. It's just people who come to help. And, you know, I so often hear about organizations being what, like, you have to have some organization. You have to have some kind of governmental thing to solve problems. But that's not what solves problems. What solves problems is just people. There's just this guy here and this other guy who, like, they're just there, and they're like, hey, you need some help? I have some time, I can give you some help. And the one guy's like, well, I'm working right now, but I can take a bit of time. And he had some tools. He's like, let me go get some tools, I can help. He helped me remove the roof off the boat, because it's, you know, the solar panel roof makes it pretty hard to move. Anyway, I got it dismantled enough that me, him, and then this other guy who was volunteering at the fire station, not a paid employer, and it's just some volunteer. The four of us dragged the boat, you know, the main hull of the boat out of the water, got it upside down so the water would drain out of it. And at that point, it's not that heavy. It's pretty easy to move. And, you know, pulled the solar panel roof out and put it on the side. And the whole time this is happening, I'm just like, look at this. Like 10, 15 minutes of just a few people just doing it. Like, it doesn't fix the problem. The boat's not fixed, but it got the boat out of the water. It started the process of rescuing the thing, you know, getting somewhere. Whereas before that, 2 hours had been blown on useless bureaucracy and paperwork and nonsense garbage. And I gotta say, in this area here, that stuff is actually pretty tame, all that nonsense paperwork and bureaucracy. In a lot of places I've lived, like, it would be all day, days even, where you're just dealing with this stuff over and over. At least here, you know, after the guys got through all their fines they could figure out to deliver, they left and went away and then just let me deal with the problem. Anyway, so my friend showed up with a boat that was big enough that we put all the pieces of my boat's carcass into the boat. And I got my chorizos and my onions. And I had a drill that I was getting a part for in town. I took the drill so I could match it up. That went under the water too. But anyway, I got all the stuff back. I am missing a cabbage and a bag of flour. Anyway, oh no, I didn't rescue my eggs because the carton was so soggy. The eggs were okay, but I was just like, forget it. So anyway, we drive home, and the guy who came, Manuel, and I, you know, just unloaded the boat. The two pontoons are easy to throw up on the island, and then the main middle hull, between the two of us, we could put it up on the land where it is right now. I gotta get a rope over there and pull it up. Anyway, at this point, now, well, that lady gave me $740. 50 went to a fine, 140 went to basically, you know, renting a boat to come and help me rescue it, and you know, get it back here, which is more than I would have liked to pay, but it was kind of, you know, kind of an emergency situation and blah blah. I don't know. That's what I had to pay, and then, you know, I gotta replace a bit of flour and some food. So anyway, that was like maybe $200 worth of stuff. So I still have like $550 about $550 to figure out what to do, which isn't going to cover anything. I'll have to put some more money into it. But yeah, my options now are. Well, let's go look at the thing first. Well, first, it looks like I'm going to be able to salvage the motor. I took it apart. Oh god, there's some crap in there. I've been cleaning it all, you know, oiling it and wiping it out. So I'm pretty sure the motor can be rescued. My toe's still a little sore, but everything else seems fine. I was worried I was going to have whiplash this morning, but my neck feels fine. All right. So first, what do I still have? These two sponsons or pontoons are still in good shape. Like, you know, that's where it was mounted, that ripped out. One of them, this one, I think, has a crack.
Wasn't that one?
Yeah, there's a crack through here. Because, you know, the boat impacted on the front here. I think this is the one that hit me in the leg. I think this is what hit me in the leg. Anyway, that'd be pretty easy to repair. So I got those two pontoons. Oh, hey guys.
Hi.
I think these solar panels are probably still okay. The roof frame is kind of cracked, but I could repair that. The only part I'm not so sure about is, yeah, this got hit and this got bent, scratched up. It might still be okay though, I don't know. And it was underwater in the ocean for a little while. So, but these are pretty watertight connections, so I think they might be all right. And then down here, well, there's my charge controller. That was underwater for like 2 hours while I was screwing around with these guys. That's obviously toast. My steering totally still works. But yeah, this is all still in good shape. There's a bit of a crack somewhere over here, but it was just like this little edge part. Maybe it was on the other side. There's just a little crack there. But other than that, it's in pretty good shape. The arms are even still connected here. It just snapped off the pontoon there. Oh, anything electronic is toast though. Like even my Frankenstein switches and stuff. So I took the motor out of here last night. I rinsed it out, then that's the motor I took apart today. All this stuff should be fine. The propeller's broken, but whatever, I can make another one of those. The battery is like I think they cost about $750 right now. It's a lithium iron phosphate battery. It's just on the other side of that door there. That I am sure is toast because it was underwater for a couple hours. And then here's the switch, which was a lot sturdier before, but it still had electricity going through it when it was underwater, so it just kind of got eaten away really fast. I can make that again. I'm sure this breaker switch is toast, but you know, and all the wires probably have salt water in them. But the hull in general, the hull is still totally fine. I couldn't find any cracks. Yeah, there's a little bit of, that's fine though. I couldn't find any cracks, you know, through the bottom or anything. So, I don't know. My options are, I could put this thing back together without that much trouble. I just have to, you know, put the one pontoon back on this side, rebuild those two arms on that side, which is where the boat plowed through and totally destroyed them. Wait, no, the boat, I don't know. Anyway. So yeah, I could put this back together. Oh, you know what I'm missing? The lid. The lid here.
You lost the lid?
Yeah, the lid for the trunk or whatever.
What happened?
Well, I don't, it's in the ocean. I'm sure it's sunk straight to the bottom. So anyway, I put this back together, or since it's all apart, I could modify it. I've been thinking about turning it into a catamaran. So like making a second one of these hulls and just having two of these, which would make the boat have a higher capacity than it has now. Because, you know, these things here don't really hold much weight. They just kind of keep the boat from tipping over. And it's awesome, but it's kind of like a two-person boat right now. And as you can see, I got a pile of kids down here. So if I duplicated that hull there, connect two of those together, then I could easily fit all the kids in and me and our groceries all at the same time. Although I don't think I'm ever driving through that dangerous area again. There's another place I can park that's kind of like around the side of town, and you know, then I have to walk a couple miles into town, but I think I'd rather do that than risk this disaster. And then the third option is maybe I just put this together and let the kids play with it and make a whole new boat that is kind of like two of these pontoons. But, you know, I do some modifications to make it even better. And just make a new super boat with all the knowledge I've gained from all the different boats I've built. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta think about it. Right now I'm mostly just trying to save that motor and yeah, and relax. so that's my almost dying story from yesterday. You ever just feel like the universe is trying to kill you?